Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Friday edition of the Computer America Show. Yes, another week of broadcasting excellence in the can, and we're going to start off with Beltone. The USA is going to be here with us in the first hour, talking about their high-technology hearing devices that work with your smartphone, with your iPhone. We actually have the CEO of Beltone USA here with us tonight in the first hour, and then in the second hour, Computer and Technology News, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. So sit back, relax. We're going to start the show in a matter of moments.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live, it's America's longest-running national radio talk show on computers, Computer America, hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. Look for Craig's weekly column in your favorite newspaper. This show is being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. Keep it here for technology news, computer products, guest interviews, and your phone calls. You're listening to Computer America.
Hello, and welcome into the Computer America Show. It's the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. Computer America is heard around the world and coast to coast. And I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And it's Friday! All right. Yes, another week of broadcasting excellence in the can, down the tubes, and filed away in the Computer America vaults of quality excellence in programming. We've got a great show planned for you tonight. In hour two, of course, we'll have Computer and Technology News brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And we have some interesting tech stories, and of course, it's being Friday. That means in the second hour we're going to have our show reminder winner of the week. Yep. I mean,
if we remember.
Yes, if we remember. Last week we almost forgot, but that was like the last 30 seconds we remembered it and got the name out just in time. So we made it under the wire.
Well, technically, like there will always be one.
Well,
like
yeah, of course.
The inner workings of it behind it will always be there. It's just, will we announce it on the air?
Yes, that's right. Well, whether we announce it or not, it'll certainly be in the show reminder in Monday, the coming up Monday show reminder. It'll be there, of course. But usually we try to remember it. Anyway, as I said, we have a terrific show planned for you, and it's also movie night too. Any good movies coming out? I know you wanted to. Did you see Hero? Was it Hero 6?
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6. Yes. Did you see it?
No.
No. Okay. That's our movie review for tonight.
Well, I mean, they're oh my. We'll do movies in the second hour, but there should be a few good ones this weekend.
I would think so. You know,
I mean, we're getting closer and closer to the holiday deadline where, everyone's with their families and they're looking for something to do. So, good movies should be coming out, especially, I know, within the month.
Yeah.
The new Hobbit movie's out.
Yes, I know. That's in December. In December. Yep. Mm-hmm.
There is stuff coming out.
Yes, there is. Yes. When's the Superman versus Batman movie coming out? That's gonna be in 2015.
Yeah, that's not even close.
Before that, and so all the new Marvel movies too. Was it the Age of Ultron? That looks very good. Do you watch the Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. on TV at all, Ben? You watch that?
No.
No? Okay. What do you watch on TV?
What do I watch? Lots of cartoons.
Cartoons, okay.
Lots of cartoons.
Well, there are Marvel cartoons as well on TV. But you watch more
Lots of not those cartoons.
Not those cartoons. Okay. Well, okay. Well, anything else you want to talk about before we introduce our guest and kind of move forward?
What else can I squander a little bit of time on?
News stories. I know there are going to be some interesting news stories. I know.
Yeah. I'm gonna go get those. No. Honestly, I think we should get into our guest.
What is that big black hairy beast that I see behind you? Oh, is that one of your? Is that
God.
That's Ryan. I mean, you. I see you're taken aback as well.
No, I know. I didn't. I don't know what that is. I've never seen it before in my life.
Well, she's looking at you hungrily, so I don't know. Be careful. Uh,
I think we'll live there.
All right. Okay. And by the way, that's we're looking at, of course, our online Computer America streaming video, which is one of the many ways you can participate on the show here. The easiest, of course, is if you have a comment, question, or suggestion for my guest, for our guest, just give us a call at 347-884-8881. That's 347-884-8881. We'll get you on and get you through. Email is live. LIVE at computeramerica.com. If you don't want to go on the air, that's a great way for you to get your question in. Also, you can join us in our live Computer America chat room. Just go to our homepage at computeramerica.com. Click on the button right in the middle of the screen that says Chat and Live Video, or it's under the Interact menu. You'll see a split screen kind of appear. It says on the left, the Live IRC chat room. It's asking for your nickname. That's the name to be known by when you go in there. There's a reCAPTCHA code. See, I said reCAPTCHA this time, which is either a number or a couple of words, and that just validates that you're a live human being as opposed to a dead one or a robot. Click the connect button, and your browser will move you into the chat room. It's that simple. If you want to format the chat room in a more visually pleasing manner, there's another button there that says click for IRC clients. That'll take you to our free software page, and on the bottom there, you'll see a number of plugins that you can put into your browser depending upon what browser you're using and what platform you're using. At least one or more of them will work, and they will format the chat room, but it's completely optional. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. And then sharing that same page on the right-hand side, there is our live streaming video page. That's right. We actually not only do the talk, we also do the video, live streaming video. You can watch us. You can see myself. You can see Ben. You can see our guest tonight. You can basically just listen and watch, and that's very simple. Just click it, and you're there. It's just that simple. Just opens a window right in your browser, and you can follow along. So I think that's everything. How you can interact with the Computer America show. So that said, let's bring our guests onto the program. Now our guest this hour is with Beltone. Well, he said Beltone. Weren't they just on? Yeah, but we had Beltone Canada on a few weeks ago. But now tonight we're going to have Beltone USA on, and in case you missed the show, we're going to talk about Beltone first. This is a recently introduced revolutionary hearing aid capable of streaming high-quality stereo sound from an iPhone, an iPad, an iPod Touch without the need for an additional pendant-like dongle device, which is very, very cool. I mean, you know, it's all there. Wearers can also customize their hearing experience through the Beltone Hear Plus app. Looks like there really is an app for everything. In fact, we'll hear how Beltone advances a number of Beltone technologies which already are leading the hearing care industry. Now, joining us is Michael Andriozzi. Michael is the CEO of Beltone Hearing Aid Centers. Michael, welcome into Computer America. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, Craig. Thanks so much for having us, and hello, Ben.
Yeah, Ben's not the furry one. Ben's the.
Yeah. But yeah, welcome on to the Computer America show.
Thanks. It's great to be here with you guys tonight.
Now we talked, as I mentioned, a little while back to someone, Frank Skubsky. I think we spoke to. He was a general manager for Beltone Canada, but you are the CEO of Beltone Hearing Aid Centers in the United States. And just give us a little background. I mean, you own these different Beltone centers. Yeah.
Yes, I'm the CEO of the Beltone Centers in various states on the East Coast, mainly the retail stores in the New England market, Florida, Carolinas, and Virginia.
Oh.
So we're on the retail side of it. Frank Skubsky, who you interviewed recently in Canada, he's the director of all of the retail and manufacturing chain up in the Canadian part of North America. So I represent, the retail side of a big portion of the East Coast. Our headquarters for Beltone in the United States and North America is in Chicago, in Glenview, Chicago. I live here in Rhode Island, where I'm coming to you tonight. But our Beltone product is represented in 1,500 locations across North America.
Wow, that is impressive. Now, do you usually see Beltone hearing centers like in shopping malls across the country? Is that where you will normally find them?
Yeah, yeah, I would say most of the Beltone retail stores you'll find in retail strip plazas. You'll find them in medical type environments as well. But it's kind of a medical retail type model where hearing aids are fit, tested, and dispensed in North America. So it almost can feel like a dental office or in that kind of realm as well.
Now, can anybody just walk into, or do you have to have a prescription? For, I mean, is it something that you have to be referred by a doctor, or can anybody just walk in and get it?
Or like whenever you strike the fence, it's like, yeah, I want one.
Well, we actually do all the testing in our offices. So we do have a number of doctors and physicians that do refer a ton of their patients who have hearing loss into our clinics. But I would say the vast majority of the patients that we see recognize our Beltone name, which we're in our 75th year coming up. So it's been around. It's a very, very strong name in the retail hearing aid business in the United States. But we do all the testing and all the examinations here in our offices and determine if the patient has a hearing loss. If he or she does have a hearing loss, then we can pursue fitting the patient with our technology in our offices with the great Beltone products that we present. So there's various different ways that people will find us, obviously.
Now, let me just ask you this, and I know it's not on the list of questions, but I do want to ask you. I mean, is if it's determined that you need a hearing aid, and you're on, if you have, is this covered by insurance, or is it covered by Medicare, or does it have to be out of pocket? I mean, how does?
Yeah, that's a great question. The vast majority of the patients who pursue hearing instruments today, it's a private purchase. Just like everything else in the medical world these days, insurance covers certain things, doesn't cover others. A lot of the senior healthcare plans are migrating closely now to cover some of the hearing aids, or portion of the hearing aids. So you'll find that a lot of the senior plans that are out there will cover a portion of the hearing instrument. If not, then it's typically a private purchase by a patient, and it's not covered through health insurance.
That amazes me because, I mean, hearing loss is a medical condition. I mean, especially when you get older, and I'm just surprised that that it isn't covered by insurance companies or Medicare or something, because hey, it's a medical condition. You're losing your hearing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but the challenge these days, as our country goes through this whole health reform, that we're going through right now, that more and more things are being cut out than added to the plan. So the chance of some of these things being added to it diminishes. It's interesting too. Even hearing aids are kind of interesting because they are an amazing product and change people's lives. And just right now in the United States, there's only 27% of the people who need them actually have them. So there's a huge opportunity for people who actually need the product, but people, they avoid getting them because they think it makes them look older, or they put off doing it because it's just it's an appliance they have to wear, change the battery. They have lots of excuses why they don't buy hearing instruments or pursue them. But once the folks find their way to our technology, it's a life-changing event without question.
It's not like you have a transistor radio in the olden days with a wire hanging down. I mean, the technology has certainly improved where it's virtually invisible. I know you're with the USA, and I never asked this question of Frank Skupski, because he's in Beltone, Canada. If you're a Canadian, does insurance cover hearing aids in Canada? Because I know they cover just about everything.
Well, they've socialized medicine in Canada, and there's 5 or 6 provinces in Canada. I'm not sure. Each province has its own system, which is interesting for what they cover. So for the vast majority of folks, a portion or a large portion of it is covered, and then there's the rest of it's covered through private pay. So they do have, I believe, a little bigger benefit. But as I say, here in the United States, more of the senior health plans are looking at hearing aids as a benefit, and they're covering portions of it. So it's really kind of enhanced the plans for a lot of the folks that need them.
Now, yeah, okay. Well, and it's an important question. Thank you for answering that. Now,
It,
we.
oh,
What?
so,
Oh,
sorry. I was gonna say, it still kind of surprises me though that w- one of the things that you mentioned there was that oh, it makes me look old. That's for old people. I don't need that yet. That kind of thing. I mean, to be honest, that sounds like the same mentality 12-year-olds have with not getting braces. They're gonna look like dorks.
Yeah.
You'd figure by this time they realize, okay, it's just gonna make my life easier and better. And these things are nearly invisible anyways.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Ben, because you're 100% right. What's happened over the last 5, 6, 7 years as our technology has advanced just immensely is that hearing aids are becoming cool. They're becoming sexy in some sense because they're getting much smaller. They've become much better for folks to wear. They're virtually invisible, and because of the generation now that's wearing earbuds all the time, they're wearing Bluetooth headsets all the time. They're wearing these large Dr. Dre things that are on people's heads and stuff like that. All of a sudden, the headsets are becoming more fashionable, becoming, it's almost a fashion statement. So our hearing aids are slowly moving into that arena where the stigma of wearing a device like we fit to folks today is not what I've described it as to the society. So more and more younger people in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s are electing to pursue hearing help in hearing aids. But like I'm 49, for example, I wear hearing aids. No one sees my hearing aids unless I pull it off and I show it to them, and then when they see the hearing aid, they think, "Wow, you wearing a hearing aid? I can't believe you wear a hearing aid."
I,
But
I thought it was
you know,
that large black thing with over your head with the mic. That was.
yeah, yeah. Well, our sister company makes these devices, Java. But yeah, but they're invisible. But now with our new Beltone First technology, which it's become even to the next level because now it talks to your cell phone, it talks to your Apple, iPhone,
And
and then
I want to get into that, but and we'll get to that shortly. But let me ask you a couple more questions here, kind of setting this up. I mean, we grew up with all kinds of myths. If you make a face like that, oh well, your face is gonna freeze like that. Myths like that. We hear stories, and I don't think they are myths. They say, well, if you listen to things, you go to lots of loud concerts when you're younger, and you hear. It's going to make up as you get older. You're going to start losing your hearing. Is that in case the situation with that?
well, yeah, no question about it. If you attend loud concerts and you're going to concerts on a regular basis, without question, you will develop a hearing loss. I mean, it's just one of those things. Prolonged exposure to loud noises will cause hearing loss, and we're seeing it today. We're seeing a lot more younger folks who not necessarily going to concerts, but they're wearing earbuds at very loud levels. And earbuds at loud levels can produce sound pressure levels of 100, 110 decibels, which is like going to a rock concert for hours at a time. So if you're at the gym on a treadmill working out with your iPod on with the earbuds connected in there for 30 minutes to an hour at 110 decibels, you're doing permanent damage to your hearing.
Wow.
So much younger people are experiencing hearing loss and are going to be in a much bigger category of folks who can benefit from our technology going forward. So without question, preserving your hearing is very important. So we really stress that to individuals who do a lot of work around loud environments, whether it's through work, through recreation, and things
You're
like
a construction worker too, and you had that jackhammer going at all times. You need to have your ears protected, right?
Oh, without question. It's mandatory, and in most in industries today, OSHA kind of oversees a lot of those things and does testing for sound exposure, high levels, and maintains that they only are exposed to it for a certain amount of hours and have certain types of ear protection in place as well. So those things are very much looked at today.
So let's talk about the.
Well,
Oh,
real quick, I just kind of want to add my own 2 cents here. My previous job, from like a year ago, I used to do manufacturing, and pretty much if you're out on the floor, I mean, it wasn't like this is unbearable, but it was a constant loud hum just because of the environment. There was heavy machinery and things like that, and you could ignore it, but me going in there, and I was pretty young, and I was just they give you earplugs, but I just didn't wear them because I wanted to hear everything. And I was working with gentlemen who were 50, 60 years old who have been doing this their whole lives for 30, 40 years, and their hearing was shot. by that time. It doesn't, what you can completely stand and ignore just, will ruin your ears over the course of a lifetime. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question. Giving a perfect example of that too, Ben, is not too far from where I am right now. There's in Connecticut, there's Electric Boat, which builds all the submarines for the Navy. And can you imagine, working inside of a submarine with loud, chipping machines in a enclosed metal container. Those kind of folks who do it for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, even with ear protection over a period of time, will cause hearing loss. And as Craig said earlier, someone with a jackhammer, it could be. You'd be surprised. We have a ton of patients who are retired dentists. Okay, now you think, what does a dentist work around loud noises? They work around those very high-speed drills that produce a very high-frequency sound. A lot of dentists experience hearing loss because for 30 years they were grinding people's teeth with a motor that had a high intensity, high frequency sound, which causes hearing loss.
Wouldn't think that would be the case, but obviously, evidently, it is. These are, you think of the typical ones like the jackhammers and stuff, but you're right. I mean, they're these devices that cause. I mean, they even use ultra high frequency sound to clean your teeth. I've seen those things. There's a very high, and I know you can have selective hearing loss too. I mean, if you abuse a particular frequency, you can actually eventually just lose the hearing those high frequencies.
You can. Another example of what's happened is if you think about the rock concerts that maybe anyone's gone to in the past, or even the performers on stage. You look at let's look at like the Who or the Rolling Stones or some of these groups that have been around for many years. All those gentlemen have severe hearing loss. I mean, just because the monitors they had in front of them that were facing them caused very, very loud sound pressure. They needed that to hear the music. Now, compare it to today. When you watch performers on stage today, what are they wearing? They're wearing earpieces, customized earpieces that are monitors at a controlled sound level. So that's allowing them to hear all of the instruments around them in their own voice, blended together at a comfortable level and preserving the hearing from the sound that's going on. So there's been a huge shift in how they're preserving hearing and making these performers hear better. So even at that stage, we've done some great things.
Now, what about radio talk show hosts who wear headsets?
Oh, forget about those guys. They're lost. There's no chance of saving those guys.
What did you say?
I knew it.
Well, that's what you have to look forward to, Ben. You'll see as you continue this career. So let's talk a little bit about Beltone first, and this is kind of unique in the industry. You're one of the first to do it, and I understand the hearing aid actually works with your smartphone, correct?
Yeah. So the Beltone First is the first made for iPhone hearing aid device released in the marketplace. What's so special about it is Beltone has been working closely with Apple on this product for a couple years now, and the device uses a wireless streaming format of 2.4 gigahertz. So we're the first hearing aid manufacturer to be able to work with this frequency band that is compatible with Bluetooth and the iPhone. And what it allows to do is it allows for the hearing an iPhone to directly stream to the devices. Now these devices are tiny. I showed you one just a few moments ago. It runs on a tiny little battery. They're invisible in your ear. So what we can do with the iPhone and the hearing aid is that you can turn the app on to the which is our Hear Plus app, and what will happen is that you can take direct control of your hearing aids through the application on the iPhone, and you can do a lot of different things with it. As simple as, number one, adjusting the volume in each hearing aid individually. So I can turn the left side up higher than the right side and stuff like that. That's pretty simple. Then we go to the next level of it. It allows us to fine-tune the device. If I wanted to change my hearing aid's tone a little bit, let's say I went to a particular restaurant and I was still struggling a little bit with that particular restaurant. I can go in there and I can give myself a little bit more treble, a little less bass, fine-tune the product a little bit, and then all of a sudden, boy, the hearing aid sounds fine. I can change listening programs, so I can change the array of way the microphones and the hearing aids are working. So this is something the audiologist, the hearing aid dispenser, would set up in the office ahead of time for the patient.
Let me ask you. Let me stop you there. So you say change the characteristic of the pickup of the microphones. I mean, can you selectively, eliminate some of the background noise and focus more on voice? So when someone's trying to talk with you, and kind of use that type of thing.
Exactly. So our newest hearing aids got some really, really amazing directional microphones on them. So the directional microphones would basically, in keeping it simple, would zoom in on what you're looking at. So basically it's going to focus in on the sounds that are in front of you, kind of put out of phase, if you will, the sounds that are beside you or behind you. So whatever you're kind of facing is going to be directly much clearer to hear. So if you're in an environment with very loud noise, you can switch, the microphone can be set up so it switches by itself, so it zooms in to the sounds that are in front of you, or you can manually do it on the actual iPhone and change it yourself, and then as soon as you hear it where it's perfect for you, you can kind of leave it at that level. What's the neat part of the new app and the hearing aid, which is really the most amazing part of this thing, is that you can then geotag the location you're at. So let's say you're at a particular restaurant that you go to on a regular basis and you fine-tune the hearing aid the way you want it. You just mark that place and it will know where you are, GPS, on that split second. So what's neat is when next time you walk into that restaurant,
it knows in that characteristic.
It knows where you are and automatically will switch into that same environmental mode without you having to do a thing.
Yeah, and it's very true because again, using microphones for most of my life, in the careers that I've had. I mean, I understand the difference between the different types of mic. We have a condenser mic, or let's say you have a unidirectional or a cardioid microphone, which basically picks up things close to you. I mean, they're different things. And you mentioned out of phase, and things being out of phase, and other destructive interference patterns that cancels out certain channels. And evidently, it sounds to me like you really are starting to utilize all that engineering technology and bringing it to the Beltone First, and letting people who might not know about it at least have some sort of simple interface so they can just, it sounds better to them and say, okay, that's the way I want it to be.
Correct. So the microphone arrays on these hearing aids is really where a lot of the hearing aid technology is advanced, because before most hearing aids just had one single microphone on them. Now they got dual microphones on them. So really there's a very small millimeter, the microphones are placed kind of apart from each other at a certain distance.
Right.
And what it can do is it can read what's coming from the front microphone to the back microphone first, what's hitting the back microphone versus the front microphone, and decide what's in front of you, what's behind you, and kind of rule out that stuff in split seconds.
Yeah.
And the neat thing about our Beltone First product, not only does it on the single hearing aid, but also talks to the hearing aid on the left ear and the right ear, so that it's what we call cross-link directionality. So it can tell which way the noise is coming from, which way the speech is coming from, and the two hearing aids talk to each other and help you through that situation.
And it has to do this all in a matter of moments, because if it doesn't, then it's like going to a bad Japanese movie, because you'll be hearing the sound and the lips will be at it.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking microseconds. It's all in real time. It's actually doing these calculations tens of thousands times a second.
Yeah.
Which is incredible.
Yeah, and there is a lot of technology involved with this, and it's nice to know that Beltone is at the forefront of this technology. So, and the app works directly with the hearing aid. Now, it's doing all these different things you meant for back to forth, but the person wearing the hearing aid doesn't really need to understand what's going on. You just use some general.
The app is very, very simple. I'm giving you some of because this is kind of a computer show. I kind of giving you a little bit more of the technical aspects of it, but for the end user, it's very simple. There's big buttons. You can make it more advanced if you choose it.
Is there advanced modes? There is an advanced mode on the app if you want to.
You can kind of like go under the hood, as I like to say. You can get a little bit more technical for the folks who are really savvy about it. But probably the most used part of the Made for iPhone app with our Beltone First is that when your phone rings, which it does all the time, you can answer it on your iPhone, but you'll hear it through the hearing instruments.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's a Bluetooth connection. You're completely hands-free. You have an invisible Bluetooth headset on. So you literally can be talking and no one really knows you're on it. But the sound quality is so clear because, remember, we're taking your hearing loss as prescription, if you will, and we're programming that into the hearing instrument. Now we're blending that in with the iPhone application. So the sound that's coming out of the hearing aid is really set perfectly for your hearing loss. So it sounds just unbelievable and allows patients to hear so much better on their iPhone than they could ever hear on their own phone, because it's been prescriptionally kind of set up for them. It's really tremendous in that regard.
It is. It's really cool. All right. Well, again, you know, there's so many things that I want to ask you about this. The fact that it works with the phone itself is very cool. So you have this kind of hands-free, and obviously the sound is being delivered to you optimally, rather than just holding the phone up to your ear as most of us do. You already have it set so you can hear that. You can hear the conversation, and that's really very nice to have it set up that way. Yeah.
It is. It is. It makes it really convenient for the patient or the end user of this thing. We've actually had a lot of people that have actually come into our office who don't have a hearing loss, who have asked the vet, "Hey, can I buy these devices just to use with my phone because they're so so simple to use, they're so small." And that's really not what they're set up to do. But I mean, it's interesting. The other neat thing that the hearing aid does is not only is it streaming the sound for your phone, but it will also stream sound for your music. So if you're listening to,
I'll tell you what, we're at the bottom of
your
the hour.
iTunes and stuff.
Let's get to that after the bottom of the hour, okay? And
Okay.
about that. This is the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, and the IRN Radio Network. Ben and I are talking to Beltone's CEO, Michael Andriozzi. We'll be right back with him after these words. Stay right there.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No Hair Removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host, Cheryl, for No Hair Removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5415. That's 800-953-5415. 800-953-5415.
Hi, this is Craig Crossman, host of the Computer America Show. You have important meetings to schedule. Your company's getting ready for its IPO, and you're in charge of the PTA fundraiser this month. So how do you coordinate everyone to be available at the same time? Are you still using emails, phone calls, even text messages to schedule meetings with a group of people? How's that working out for you? Not so great, huh? It's a fact that every day, millions of people suffer from scheduling headaches. Well, with Doodle, scheduling meetings with a group of people is quick and easy. With Doodle, you can easily propose available times to each member. Each one checks off the times that they're available, and then you simply pick the time that works best for the group, all in an easy-to-read display that integrates with your existing calendar. Nothing could be more simple. Give Doodle a try for free, and like millions of Doodle users, you'll truly see how easy it is to find the perfect date and time for all your meetings. That's www.doodle.com.
Ah, there you are. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Mio Link heart rate monitor. There's almost nothing to using the Mio Link continuous heart rate monitor. Charge it up, fit it into its rubbery wristband, wear it on your wrist, push a button to calibrate, and in seconds, it gives you a relative idea of your heart rate through a single multicolor LED. It's light blue when you're resting, then progresses through blue, green, yellow, pink, and red. An app lets you configure where your beats to minute range should fall. We'll guess that's the end of the colors, because if you push your heart past red, it may push you past dead. It can send data via Bluetooth Smart 4.0 or ANT Plus to fitness apps or compatible gear. Bottom line, with its wrist strap nest and no chest strap needed, a Mio Link continuous heart rate monitor lets you keep a beat on your beat, even when you leave your other gear back on the car seat. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that. And if you enjoyed that, bad news. That's the last time you're going to hear that one.
Yeah, that's it. We get 2 new ones next week.
There you go. Although it's always available on the podcast.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, sure. You can always get it. Yes.
All right. So yeah, welcome back to the Computer America Show. 33 minutes past the hour. We have Michael here from Beltone Hearing Aid Centers, and we're just getting into some of the cool things that hearing aids can do now.
Music. Music.
Yeah, music. You can actually, not just the stuff around you, but stuff that you actually want to pipe into your ears. You can do that too.
You sure can, which is exciting. We can stream audio, any type of audio, from your iPhone, your iPad, directly into the hearing instrument. So, we know today there's wireless Bluetooth headsets out there that are used just for this type of purpose, but the fact that now we're putting it through a hearing aid, through a tiny hearing aid that's using a tiny little battery, really makes it convenient for the patients, because if they're working out, for example, they can do that. If they're driving their car and they're getting turn-by-turn directions, they can hear it directly into the hearing aid. And remember, we're dealing with folks here who have hearing loss, so it's a little bit more challenging than for them to hear some of these different things. Another neat feature, which is very, very cool, and this is obviously with an iPhone you can do a FaceTime. Well, FaceTime through the hearing instruments, for someone especially who's severely hearing impaired, is a really, really great event for them as well. So we get some neat things that this hearing aid can do through the app and through the iPhone directly into the hearing aids that we were never able to do before, or if we were, you had to go through an intermediary device. You don't have to. You go right from the hearing aid, right from the iPhone right to the hearing aid without wearing anything else. It's pretty amazing.
Now, while that's happening, can they still hopefully hear, what's around them too at the same time?
Sure. They can control the different microphones on them. Again, the app lets you control which microphones are on, which ones are off. You can override certain things, or we can kind of put it on automatic mode. Mm-hmm. So they can still be aware of the sound that's around them. To answer your question, yes, correct.
Because I know, like for example, I'm wearing isolating earphones, but I can still, I can sort of hear around me, but I would equate your Beltone first to like a non-isolating headset. In other words, it allows people to hear things around them while they're listening to music or whatever.
Well, they can if they choose to. If they can shut it off as well. They can have strictly the sound coming into them. So
you don't want to do that when you're driving. Or something.
No. Without question, it would be a danger issue. I mean, remember, the folks who have hearing loss, the main purpose of the hearing aids is to bring the sound in around them. That's what that's the whole purpose of getting a hearing device. Obviously, this is just allowing them to control it in a different way. And what's really amazing to me is that when we first released this product, we felt like we would open up the window to see a lot more younger patients, folks, as I say, in the 40s or 50s, early 60s, who perhaps were thinking about getting a hearing device, but just thought it wasn't, for them. Mm-hmm. We're seeing a lot more of those folks come into our offices now because these devices are, it's using a device they already use, which is an iPhone, which is great. Yeah. But what's amazing to me is how many people in the 70s and 80s and 90s who have iPhones or some type of smartphone. It's incredible how many people have them that come into our office today, and most of the time you think most of these folks are not going to be either computer savvy or they're going to be afraid of it. A lot of them are embracing it, which is really wonderful. It's really nice to see that.
That is nice, and of course, although we're cutting close to the edge of that age range, as time progresses, people in their 60s, 70s are sort of had technology when they were younger, and so it's not completely alien to them. So they're comfortable. And as time progresses, obviously the younger generation moves into the older generation will also be the technologically savvy generation, and so.
I figure by the time that my generation comes up, we're going to be completely comfortable with the idea of robots just controlling our arms. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be awesome.
And he'll be totally deaf too, but it'll be amazing.
Trade-offs.
You're probably right.
Yeah, exactly. So.
By the way, you said that the hearing aids also works or can work as Bluetooth speakers, and you said something that you could FaceTime with them. Does that mean there's a microphone built in, or are you using the microphone built into the phone?
It's a good question. Right now we're using the microphone built into the phone. Our next generation of this, it probably will have it built into the hearing instrument, from what I'm told from some of the engineers. which is a kind of a big task when you're talking about such a small device for it to transmit both ways. But right now it's using the microphone on the hearing ends on the iPhone.
Will that microphone be just a microphone, or are you looking into bone induction technology? So I know a lot of headsets, Bluetooth headsets, are starting to use that technology.
Yeah, with it wouldn't really apply to what we're doing with the bone. I mean, we use bone anchored technology for a lot of things within our industry these days, and of course a lot for some of the Bluetooth stuff. But for a device like what we're talking about, where it's sitting on your ear, not really pressing against the mastoid bone hard enough that you would have a very difficult time kind of vibrating that sound into the mastoid bone. But I wouldn't rule that out. There's that's how some of the Google Glass stuff works, with the vibration of that. And there's other things coming down the pike. There's even a company working on something that vibrates it through teeth and stuff like that. So there's some neat stuff going on. Yeah. Yes.
And don't close the door on any of it. Obviously, all these technologies down the pike. Certainly, you want to keep these things available because they are. I mean, that was the Jawbone had the bone induction technology, and that's just very, very, very cool stuff. And I'm sure that a company like Beltone will be able to work with things like that.
I just imagine.
I was going to say one of the reasons why, like for a company like Jawbone, they needed to do it through bone conduction because the microphone arrays for technology was still kind of in its infancy back then. Mm-hmm. Now with multiple microphone arrays on devices like I'm talking about, you can create such incredible directional characteristics on a hearing device because of the way the microphone's positioned, and even that's what's helping us with an iPhone or some of the other products. But in the hearing aid world, it is driving our technology now by creating interesting mic arrays on it. So that's going to be helping. That's what makes the Beltone First so special, because we're utilizing that microphone array on such a tiny little device to really isolate sounds in a special way.
Now, we're talking about iPhones and everything, but is there anything else that the hearing aid can hook up to via wireless as well?
Yeah, it can hook up to any of the Apple devices that are on the iOS platform. So it can go to an iPad, it can go to there are small original iPods and stuff like that, the smaller devices like that. It can hook up to any of those devices, and next year we'll have available for the Android application in the same type of realm as well. But right now it's strictly with the Apple technology for the the research and development we've done with them. One of the other features that it's been kind of great for our industry, since we deal with sometimes more of an elderly population, and these devices are quite small, at times they may misplace or lose the hearing instrument or forget where they put it. One of the other great features on this product, which is just incredible, is that we have Find My Hearing Aid application. So we can actually find the hearing aid via GPS. So, and it works in two ways. Number one, it creates a map on your iPhone to see right now in real time live where the hearing aid is, and it's very accurate. But if you lost it in a room, or if you left it in the couch, or maybe the dog took off with it, you can actually put on the smaller meter and find it within a 30-foot radius, and it's almost like a meter, almost like a metal detector meter, if you will, to find it in a small environment. And we have so many incredible stories of folks who have misplaced their instrument and found it with this incredible application.
You said something, and I guess I have to ask it. It may be silly, but it just popped into my head. I mean, do you make hearing aids for dogs or animals? I mean,
we don't. Our company does not, but I believe there's some technologies out there for dogs. It's funny. I have 3 dogs, and 2 of them are hard of hearing. So you think someone in the business would do something about it, but there are some technologies out there for it. Listen, one of my dogs has ophthalmology problems, and we have a specialist who's a dog ophthalmologist. So I'm sure there's audiologists for dogs somewhere out there as well.
Because they have such a higher sense of, they hear higher frequencies and things. So it would be the configuration.
Are you sure your dogs just aren't, kind of nonchalant? Just like they hear you.
They hear but don't understand. I think that would be a better bone conduction technology for animals, by the way.
Oh, well, okay. Well, there it is.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned that the Beltone First even has GPS on it. So you mentioned one of the things that you can actually you can use the GPS to find it.
Yeah. So the GPS function actually serves a few. Number one, it allows, as I was explaining, to find your hearing aid. So if you lose the hearing instrument or you misplace it, the GPS can find where it is in real time. So it's actually incredibly coded to it, so you can find it anywhere it is, and a map comes on your phone. You can see it in just a few seconds, and there
That's
it is.
cool. That's very cool. I really like
Yeah.
it.
The patients love that. It is a really a neat function, and the map comes up, like right, and you can see it no problem. Then there's another one, what's called a nearby one, which I have up here right now, which is like a little metal detector, and it can find the hearing aids in a room, or so you can kind of move it around and see where it is, and the meters go up as you get closer to it. You can play a little game at night, right?
Find the hearing aid. Exactly.
So we had a patient just last month who wrote us a letter, which was pretty amazing, where he was outside doing some yard work, and he had one of his hearing aids, he had taken it off, or it fell off, and he went in his house and he couldn't. He just realized he couldn't find his hearing aid. So he got his iPhone app out, he turned it on, and he knew it was on his property, and he knew whereabouts on his property through his GPS. Then he turned the nearby thing on, and he went and found it, and it was under a bunch of leaves, and he found the thing. And he would have never found it otherwise.
That makes perfect sense, because GPS is accurate to within about 10 feet, or but then of course something as tiny as a hearing aid lost outside in the yard, that's still not going to be. That's a lot of ground to cover. So having that final fine.
It's like a contact.
It's like a contact. It just actually goes right up to the point where it is. Once you're in range, that's very nice. That's extremely slick.
It's one of the other things that's kind of what the company's done, and we've done a nice job with. We have some other accessories, some other wireless accessories, and what we call our direct line of accessories that connect to this as well. So we have something called a MyPal microphone, which is a tiny little microphone that you can clip on somebody. Let's say you're at a restaurant again, or a family gathering, or whatever, and it's a little clip-on mic that you can clip on someone in that room, and then again with your iPhone app, you can turn that microphone on and stream directly from that particular microphone directly into the hearing aid. So if it's in a restaurant and it's a long table and someone's at the end, and we all know, even with normal or good hearing, it's hard to hear in these restaurants, right?
Yes.
So this creates an incredible signal-to-noise ratio benefit for you, so that you can clip that on someone else, directly stream it through the iPhone, right to the hearing aid instruments, and it works perfectly. We have the same type of device for what we call a TV link, which connects to your TV, and then in your home, you just, again, with your iPhone, you flip on the TV link, and then the sound from the TV directly streams to the hearing instrument. So you have almost like your own little audio mixer built into the iPhone app, and your hearing instruments are the receivers of it.
Jonathan in the chat room had a funny comment. He says, good thing you have Hangouts so we can read lips.
It's true for someone who's hearing impaired. They rely on that sometimes.
I know. That's our chat room. We have a wild and crazy bunch in there, and they have some funny things. But yeah, so again, I'm kind of blown away about the GPS, because GPS is nice, but again, the fact that you can fine tune it with the actual and go right up to the device within within inches. You're going to find, and you need that kind of pinpoint ability. If it's dropped outside in the ground, and it's under leaves. You're going to need to be able to have that kind of accuracy right up to the device.
Correct, and again, the other use of the GPS in the device is so when you mark a location that you frequent often, and you fine tune your hearing aid for that location to work perfectly. Again, each time you go to that location, you'll hear your hearing aids make a clicking sound, knowing that you're at that location, and it will switch programs to that chosen, fine-tuned program that you've created in that environment each and every time you go in that environment. So I know, because I wear hearing instruments, when I go into my office in the morning, as soon as I pull into the parking lot, my hearing aids switch. I can every single morning. It's really amazing.
That is really, really nice. It really just the fact that you can now you can get one, or how many different little microphones can you get? So when you have you want to put it on somebody's lapel or something so you can hear them more clearly. Is it just the one, or can you I mean, how many can you set up to be like that?
I think there's a limit to them. I think you can set up 3 or 4. microphones up to in a certain situation like that. There's a limit to them, but I don't know if you need more than that, because otherwise now you got like a mixing studio going on over there. But I think in most cases the one microphone. The other one, there's a microphone obviously built into your iPhone. You can turn that one on. This can be a remote mic too, so you can turn that on and put it in a different part of the room, and that can also be one of the microphones to stream off of as well.
And what about surreptitious hearing? You want to hear what some people are saying, but you could take your phone and just leave it there and then go off, and they think you're away, and then you can hear everything that they're saying.
Oh, spy gadgets now.
Spy gadget, yeah. I mean,
you could. I mean, you really, really could. There's no question about it. We have some folks that travel quite a bit, and they use the iPhone. They'll put it in front of the TV in a hotel, and then they'll stream the sound from the microphone on the iPhone directly to their hearing aids, and it works just well for them. So it's really, it's taking this kind of stigma of hearing aids, which were for a lot of people, for older folks, we're making them cool. We're making them sexy. We're putting them in mainstream. We're making people want these. When I spend a little bit of time showing this to any of my friends or colleagues who know what I do, but maybe not to the extent, and they see what this can do, they're just blown away by the technology that's part of this. And I think that's the great message here, because this is we're in our fourth generation of wireless technology, but it's the first product that's been made for an iPhone, and we're going to keep developing products. We just released another product just like this, but it's designed for someone who's severely hearing impaired, someone who's close to being almost deaf, if you will, that can wear a product that the iPhone can then connect to. So we keep continually coming out with technology around this, which is going to just keep enhancing folks' ability to hear better.
So, so indirectly, are you saying, I guess that leads to the question, can you fit any hearing loss with this type of hearing aid? I mean, or are there some types that you can't?
Yeah, well, with our Beltone First product, we can fit up to 90% of the hearing losses out there today, which is really incredible. And how I can do that is that we have different types of molds that can be fit onto the instrument. So if you're someone who's severely hearing impaired, we actually build a custom mold for your ear, and we encapsulate the receiver into the mold, and we can create a much higher sound pressure level for the patient. And this small little device can still drive a tremendous amount of sound pressure to satisfy that. The other neat feature that's built into this product, which we haven't had before, is something called sound shifter technology, and this is really amazing. If someone who has severe hearing loss, let's say in a certain range, say high frequency range,
right,
and they really don't, even when the sound's amplified, they don't do very well in the high frequency range.
For the sibilants, like the S's and T's, that type of thing.
Exactly, and you being the sound engineer, you know a lot about that. But you could take that whole range of high frequency sounds, like the consonant sounds, C's, S's, T's, like you're saying. We can take that and shift it into a mid-frequency band, compress the sound, shift it to a mid-frequency band, and use the residual hearing that someone has in their mid-frequencies and change the characteristics of those sounds so they can use the hear cells that are still in good shape and shift that technology over. That's something brand new in this hearing device.
I hadn't heard of that before. Yeah.
And it is amazing. So we've had a lot of great success stories. It's been new to our staff and our audiologists and our hearing care practitioners about how to really harness that. But the engineers at Beltone's done a great job kind of developing this technology, and it's been great. It's great for folks who are more severely hearing impaired to use the residual hearing they have and still get a good range of hearing from it.
You hear about things where people have their ears blown out. I mean, there's no eardrums left. So they're, I guess, quote unquote, stone deaf. I mean, are there ways around that with these?
Well, here's the thing. Everybody comes into our offices. We do a video otoscope exam on them. So we actually put a tiny video scope in the ear canal. We make it interactive with the patient, so the patient's part of that virtual tour of the ear canal. And we show them the ear canal. We show them the eardrum. If their eardrum was, a hole in it, or was damaged, or there's a tremendous amount of wax, we'd all see it together and we'd explain it and make it part of an interactive procedure with the patient. If they had no eardrum, then there's some challenges there for sure. Most of the folks that we see just have nerve deafness, which is a problem from loud noises or exposure to loud noises over a period of time, or hereditary. But most of the folks, hearing loss is just from aging process and loud noises. So it's something you can't prevent. It's painless. It just happens.
Well, you mentioned earwax. I mean, a lot of times that can be cleaned out, can't it? Though, and
Sure, totally. So if we identify there's a earwax, especially a significant amount of earwax, we'll refer you to an ear, nose, and throat doctor or a family physician to have the wax removed, and that could be causing a lot of hearing problems. That's the first thing we rule out, obviously.
I would think so.
Yeah.
All right, so really been talking about what makes Beltone different in the marketplace, because I have not heard of anything like this, that comes even close to this. What do you think is coming down the pike, in the next couple of years? What do you think you're going to be doing?
Well, I think the convergence with smartphones is going to continue without question. I think that we're in a position today where more and more technology with smartphones and hearing aids are going to collide. I think that you'll get incredible sound quality out of the hearing aids. We already have incredible sound quality, but I think that's always going to be. I think hearing and noise. I think our next generation of product with its microphones and stuff like that will allow someone with a hearing loss to hear better than someone with normal hearing in a noisy situation.
Yeah, you're going to cross that threshold. They'll have like super hearing.
I really think that's where we're going, where you'll be able to do that. I think that you'll be able to, at some point in the future, have a hearing aid that will be able to take Italian and convert it to English in real time. I think things like that will happen. I think there's a lot of amazing things that'll come out.
That's like the Babel fish, from.
Well, I mean, because there's so much processing power in these devices now, and before it was a battery issue, being able to drive this stuff, but they've made it so amazingly efficient with our technologies and stuff. Now we're able to do more and more things like that. So I think there's going to be a convergence, as I say, more of the use with the iPhone or any type of smartphone application with it. The devices continue to get smaller. I think that we'll probably get the devices back in the ear canal. There's a new technology that's being released next year that in our company is a part of it, that allows you to scan with a three-dimensional scanner the ear canal. And then once we scan you inside the ear canal, we can then take that three-dimensional image, send it to our lab, and build a custom product that goes in your ear canal without having to touch your ear with silicone or wax or any of that stuff. Yeah. So it's a complete non-invasive impression. When we release that next year, I think that we're going to see more tiny hearing aids deeper in the ear canal that don't go behind your ear, harnessing the things I'm talking about.
Right, get out, we like a little magnet or something, click, and we just pull it out if you want to remove it, that type of.
Well, there's a small little removal line, believe it or not, because it goes so deep in your ear to pull it out. Yes. So those are some of the things that you'll be seeing next. And we have some of the stuff now, but be able to fit it properly. This laser scanning gun is just going to revolutionize a lot of that.
Can you give me just a general idea what these things cost? Give me a price range, what people can expect to pay for things like this.
Yeah, some of the we have different versions of the technology in the Beltone first. It can start in the low, it can be a little north of $1,000, $2,000, and go as high as $3,000 in that price range for product. Yes.
So if you want truly state of the art, around $3,000.
Oh man, I was gonna say bells and whistles, but I guess bells and whistles in your ear would not be good.
Yeah. So the investment in this technology, because there's so much research and development in this, is a lot of you buy a device, but with that device comes all the testing, the fitting, the aftercare, the programming, the adjustments, and all the service and maintenance. So it's kind of a bundled thing. So you're not just buying the device, you're buying a lifetime service warranty with it and stuff like that. So a lot comes with it.
Of course. Well, Michael, this was a lot of fun and very informative, and I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us here tonight and letting people know about this. Again, you can go to computeramerica.com, click on our show notes button. It's right there in the center of the homepage, and you'll see today's show, November the 21st, and we have the link to the Beltone website, and you can see all the details and all the particulars of what's available, because if you're hearing impaired, you can be surprised that some of the technologies that are available to you today through Beltone. Michael, thank you again for being with us here tonight.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks so much for having us, and really enjoyed the show. Thank you.
All right, and take care.
Take care.
Have a good one.
All right. All right. So there you go, Beltone, and again at computeramerica.com, you can check it all out for yourself. And I think that if you're in the market,
I like what you hear.
Yeah, you don't like what you hear. Like
There's so many puns to do with hearing aid.
I know, but truly,
Greg,
yes, yes, yes.
we're just gonna play it by ear, okay?
I'm gonna play it by ear. Okay. I'll keep my ear to the grindstone, or is that the nose?
Don't worry.
Yeah. We could do the rest of the show on ear puns, but we're not going to do that. Coming up in hour two, we have computer technology news. Ben has found a plethora of interesting stories that we're going to bring to you in hour two. Of course, we'll have that News Tips Bulletin review from Marty Winston. It'll be the last one for this week, and then we'll have two new ones coming up on Monday, because we have two of those. So we'll do that. And let's see what else. Of course, our show reminder winner of the week. We have an upgrade alert coming out here too. So if you have an iPhone, yeah.
Oh yeah, I got that too.
Yeah, there's going to be there's an iPhone alert. A new version of the iPhone will operating system iOS 8 will tell you about that and what modifications were made. In the meantime, we're going to take a short break, just a moment, and then we're going to continue on. You're listening to the Computer America Show on the Blog Talk Radio Network, on the Boost Radio Network, on the IRN Radio Network. We're going to take a break for a moment, and then we'll be right back. Did you find any good movies, Ben?
I didn't look.
Oh, okay. We need to look, okay? And then we'll come back with all those news stories coming up in hour two of the Computer America Show.
Broadcasting live. It's the only national radio talk show on computers to air every weeknight. Computer America. Hosted by national columnist Craig Crossman. The first hour's behind us, but there's still more of tech news, tech talk, and your phone calls. We're being beamed nationwide at ComputerAmerica.com. You got computer problems? Bring them on. You're listening to Computer America. Computers run the world, and we run computers. Call us or send us an email to live@computeramerica.com.
Hello and welcome into hour two of the nation's longest-running, nationally syndicated radio talk show on computers. This is the Computer America Show, and I'm your host, Craig Crossman.
And I'm your co-host, Ben.
And we continue on in hour two. We just again had Beltone, USA. Michael Andriozzi was here with us, and talking about the Beltone first. And how it works with iPhone technology.
It was the first I'd heard of it.
Yeah, I have to say. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you'll be
here playing this night.
You'll be here all week, I know. But we, and of course you can listen if you missed it, you didn't hear it, on our archives page. Just go to computeramerica.com. Just go to our archives page, and you can download the audio. Blog Talk Radio. We can use Apple's iTunes. That we have the link directly to Apple's iTunes there, right from within your browser or from the iTunes application. You can do it either way. And of course, the video. If you missed the video, you want to see the video, we archive that as well. So all of the things that we do here at Computer America are archived on our archives page at computeramerica.com for you to check it out and listen to it. Beltone. So before we do our news, let's do an upgrade alert. No, not that.
It might as well be the way Apple's been updating lately.
Exactly. The iPhone release. I have to move that so I won't click that in the wrong. It's so close. iOS 8.1.1. So it's not a tenths, it's a hundredths. So that means it's a very small upgrade. But according to Apple, not too much. They just say this release includes bug fixes, increased stability and performance improvements for the iPad 2 and the iPhone 4S, which Ben just used to have, but he doesn't have it anymore. So, but it's more bug fixes, primarily for if you. But so that's now available from just use your iTunes. I use iTunes normally to upgrade it, but I also have the wireless turned on, and I was going to upgrade it from my iTunes, but it was already upgraded. My iPhone had already done it. It's kind of nice. So
Apple does tend to have those auto update features.
Yes, they do, and it just kind of puts it away. Uh, Although I have to say, when I wanted to update it, it came up and asked me. It asked for permission because I guess it doesn't want to update. The other ones it does it without my asking. It just goes ahead and does. But the operating system, I think it asks you because it's a major update, and it takes a few minutes for it to do it. So it doesn't want to do it when you're using the phone. So there it goes.
By the way, if you want to get into movies real quick, I have a.
Absolutely. What movies?
Actually, really, Dumb and Dumber was last weekend's blockbuster.
Yeah.
And that came out, and that was currently #1. But I feel like this one that just came out this weekend is going to completely push it over the edge.
Interstellar?
Nope, came out this weekend.
Ah, okay. What?
Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1.
I couldn't get into the Hunger Games. I watched it a couple times. I couldn't do it. Couldn't get into it.
I totally could. Like, the second one's on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to. The first one is, of course, on Netflix, and the second one just came out. And, this is the first part of the third movie. It is totally like in terms of, like, science fiction meets young adult, and yet is still good. Like, that doesn't happen often. Often you get, like, Twilight, and which is too mushy for my taste, but...
Science fiction. That's more fantasy.
Yeah, well, still science fiction. Anyways, but for science fiction aimed at young adults, this is the new standard.
Did you see The Maze? It's very.
I did not, but it was. I've heard many similarities between the two.
Okay, yeah, I heard a lot of similarities. Another one I couldn't get into. I watched it, but I couldn't get into it. Was the Ender Game. Ender Games. I couldn't get into
I liked the book.
Yeah, I couldn't get it.
I'd read that back in like 2003 or something like that. Like, I read the whole series, and I was like, oh man, they're making a book, and Harrison Ford's gonna be, the general. This is gonna be awesome. And then I never watched it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Like it was those lukewarm reviews that just kind of like soured it for me.
Yeah, well, it's on HBO. It's on, you can see it, on some of the other places if you get that. But I just couldn't get into it. So anyway, go figure. But a lot of the Marvel movies are coming out. The Age of Ultron looks really good. There are a number of films that are just around the corner that I'm looking forward to seeing. So.
But at any rate, The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1 is one of those big movies that a lot of people have been waiting for. It's up there on the list of movies to watch. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to see. Oh, it was The Maze Runner. That was the other one. Yeah, exactly. Now, the other one I'm looking forward to is Jupiter Ascending, which was supposed to be out in July of 2014, but it won't be coming out until February of 2015. But that looks good. That's with...
Never heard of it.
Jupiter Ascending? Yeah, that's... it looks... I've seen the preview. You should check out the preview. It looks really good.
I always thought it was orbiting, but...
No. It's a it's a fantasy sci-fi kind of film. It's like it's more in that genre.
I'm not sure if you've ever heard of the show, but Cowboy Bebop.
No, I've not heard Cowboy Bebop.
Okay, well, it's an animated show.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be making a movie out of it, and it's a space western drama.
Well, like Cowboys and Aliens.
No, not like Cowboys and Aliens completely played off the cliche fact that they were cowboys and they were aliens and they fought. Mm-hmm. This is like, think of a Western style, like Western fight scenes with all the drama and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. All of it's set in space. It's like a space opera.
It sounds a little bit like Firefly. Was that sort of like that?
Even yeah. You know what? Firefly would not be a bad analogy. And apparently they're making a movie out of it. Like, it's been a hit show for 10, 12, 13 years, and they're finally making a movie out of it. So that one should be coming out next. And hopefully, if they do it well, it's going to be a really great movie.
You know what I've discovered, Ben, having Netflix now for some time, what I've really discovered is that there are so many movies out there that you never hear about. They've never been publicized, and many of them for very good reason. They're really badly done, but the Netflix has them. I don't know if there's a category for them. I guess they call them B movies or something.
B movies would be movies that don't get the publicity and have B actors,
Yeah.
but sometimes they're entertaining.
I've watched a couple of them, a few of them, and I'll get partway through it, and I just say no, I just can't. But then I found a few that were actually pretty darn good, you know. So it's sort of pot luck, you know. If it's a quiet night and nothing really on TV to watch, I'll pick one of those sci-fi movies that no one's ever heard of, and I'll try.
I mean, there's a movie on Netflix about FDR, which is amazing. That you probably hadn't heard of. It's a FDR American Bad, but you know it's a
Okay.
yeah it's like a joke documentary kind of thing, and it's funny.
Okay. Well,
Like they're B movies, but you're like, yeah, I'll watch that for 2 hours, and you're entertained. It's not that it's good. It's not that it's ever gonna win an Oscar, but as long as the movie entertains.
well, did you like Iron Sky?
Yeah, totally. What? Nazis invading from space?
Okay.
Yeah.
It never made the movie theaters, but there it is.
And then it even got a sequel.
Yeah. What was the sequel?
Well, no, they're coming out with it soon. It's Nazis from the Center of the Earth or something like that, where you know they kind of went underground and they found dinosaurs. So now they're coming back and invading the surface with dinosaurs.
They're coming from everywhere. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, again, we're going to do our computer news, and we're going to have our show reminder winner of the week. We just had our update, so let's do some news stories. Tonight's computer and technology news is brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. You can visit them at slimwareutilities.com to clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system at absolutely no charge. That's right. They're free. They are completely free. Go to slimwareutilities.com, download all of them. They're great. Why not do it? I mean, it doesn't cost you anything, and they truly will clean, speed up, and optimize your Windows system. And just have them available. If you don't want to use them right away, just have them available, because you're going to want, sooner or later, you're going to have a problem with your computer, and slimwareutilities.com is going to make that problem go away. They do a wonderful job. Download them all. You'll thank us for it when you do that. slimwareutilities.com. Okay, Ben, why don't you do the leading story?
All right, leading story. This one, if you ever happen to frequent this chain of restaurants, you may be in for something a little different this year. So, this one from Popular Science, Kelsey Atherton, and TGI Friday. Thank God it's Friday. In-restaurant drone hovers mistletoe over customer's head.
Oh, no.
Trading hellfire for smooches. And, you know, hellfire missiles. So, circling overhead, the drone finds its prey seated below. The robot is looking down, is looking not for a specific identifying characteristic of people, but rather suspect behaviors. In the booth by the window, both patrons just scooted closer to one another and are now sitting leg touching leg. The behavior registers, the robot flies, and then hovers perfectly overhead. Its dangling tendrils of mistletoe, encouraging the pair to overcome any hesitation and kiss. The drone's camera records the moment. The overlords at corporate are pleased. Such is the vision of the future promised by a new holiday-themed ad for casual dining chain TGI Fridays in the UK. Again, the UK. In just over a minute's time, the drone, which appears to be a DJI Phantom, flies over several restaurant patrons. Strapped beneath its body is a sprig of mistletoe and a camera, ready to record the moment if it happens. A server pilots the quadricopter with a remote control handset, and the bartender ties on the festive parasite, which I'm assuming means the mistletoe. This mistletoe is the latest in a long line of gimmick drones where something fairly mundane, like hanging mistletoe or delivering pharmaceuticals across a river, is really weird, is made exciting by doing it with a remote control aircraft. It's a common enough tactic that Netflix made an ad mocking the idea last February. The TGI Friday ad opens with a claim that over half of adults in the UK have never had a kiss under a mistletoe. The tragedy. With Mistletoe Drone, the restaurant chain wages war on holiday glumness. Lonely customers in sight may soon hear rotors overhead flying a subtle message. Now kiss. It's a weird one.
Yeah, but
Although,
I think
how much time do you think the gentleman piloting the drone is going to get before he has to do it in the restaurant? Like, over customers' heads. Like do you think, okay, Chuck, you're spending the next 2 days, you are going to master that drone. You and that drone are going to be one body. Or do you think they're just going to, like, okay, get the dishwasher out here, hand him the remote, and have him start hovering, and have him start buzzing people's heads?
no, I don't think so, because that could be, that thing hits them. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be a pretty picture. So obviously, you have to have someone trained on it, I would think.
They're not the easiest thing to pilot.
No, they're not. No, they're not. Well, we'll see if any bloodshed occurs during the holiday months of TGI Fridays.
Nothing makes the holidays sweeter than
Bloodshed.
drones.
Drones. Okay. Oh,
It was a cute little story. I
was-
liked it.
yes. Well, here's another story. This isn't necessarily cute, but this is just an interesting story. You know, we have we've had them on the show. We have ad blocker on the program, and Ad Block Plus.
Yeah.
I use it. I love it. It's a great. We've had them on the show, I think, twice. And you know, well, Google, according to Maximum PC, Sean Knight, Google is testing a subscription service that blocks ads from participating websites.
That is a complete 180.
Yeah. Evidently, you're gonna pay $1 to $3 a month to block ads. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, would you pay to get rid of ads on a website? Well, that is the question being asked as Google has announced its Google Contributor Subscription Service, which would block ads from a participating website for a fee. Suffice to say, this announcement comes as a surprise considering that Google's lifeblood is advertising. Today's internet is mostly funded by advertising, said Google, but what if there were a way to directly support the people who create the sites you visit each day? So Google's contributor program is not only a way for readers to directly support their favorite websites, but also provides an alternative way for website owners to pay the bills. Participants choose how much their monthly contribution would be. The current range is $1 to $3, and then they simply visit the participating sites. Part of the contribution will go to the participating website or websites you visit, where you'll see a thank you message and a pixelated panel where the ad would normally be. Well, wouldn't the thank you message be an ad? You know, this thank you.
Well, I mean, you're not dealing with, the
I know.
corporate brainwashing.
No, you're not. You know. Well, are you? Maybe you are, but in a circuitous manner.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, according to the story, again, there are not many websites participating in the program. But the ones that are involved include Urban Dictionary, The Onion, Science Daily, WikiHow, Mashable, and Imgur. Imager. Imager. Thank you. Imager. And for those who wish to participate in the program, they will need to be invited and put on a waiting list. Now, while the idea is an intriguing one, is it a solution to an old and established business model that has, in some cases, become a nuisance to readers? What about those of you who make use of an ad blocker, right? Like the one we just mentioned, Ad Blocker Plus. Is the concept of Google Contributor one you would switch to as a way to support a website? Well, I mean, it's a good question. I mean, Ad Blocker, does an amazing job, and they don't require the websites to participate. They just block the ads, and they use a reverse engineering kind of
They
way.
kind of pick out which elements on a website are dedicated to ads, and then they can block that element.
Yeah, that's what they do. And
Although, AdBlock, we've had them on the show before. Their driving message is they're not out to kill ads. They aren't just, they aren't vindictive against all ads.
No, they're not.
They are for proper ads. If you find a website that you want to support that you don't mind their ads, it is literally one click of the mouse to get to show their ads. If it's not invasive, you don't mind it, and you want to support them, go for it. Do it.
Yeah.
And I think Google doing this, having a subscription program, pay them $1 a month, $3 a month, and then you get the same effect as AdBlock, but you also get to support your website without the ads. Perfect. This is kind of going hand in hand with AdBlock.
Yeah. Well, now for example, this very page that I'm looking at Maximum PC, I have ad blocker already, and it says the number 11 appears. It says there are 11 ads blocked on this page are 11. So there are actual 11 ads now here on this page that ad blocker is blocking. So there you go. Now, of course, I could turn it off in a moment, but to me, it just seems easier. I mean, just use the ad blocker, and that way you can go to a lot more ads. A lot more websites.
It's not about blocking ads. Again, it's about what websites do you want to support, and disabling ad block on a site may seem, like, oh, it'd be easier just to block all ads because I hate all ads and all ads need to go away. That's not what AdBlock Plus is about. It's about getting rid of the in-your-face annoying ones, the ones that have 30 different ads and you can't tell which one's which and they're all over the place. Use AdBlock Plus for that. But if you enjoy, whatever news site you go to, if you enjoy whatever, social media site you go to, or what have you, disable AdBlock, support them with ad revenue, and then,
and you
do that kind of thing.
And you can do that with ad blocker. You can say don't block ads on the sites that I'm supporting, and it'll do that. It'll just let the
one of the big things is Twitch.tv. We've talked about them many times on the show. They stream all the game people. All the people that play games.
Yeah.
So they have like a live feed, and they actually run ads. Like they have a service built into Twitch.tv to run like commercials.
Mm-hmm.
And AdBlock actually blocks that whole thing.
Yeah.
Like you still see them, you don't see the ads at all, you don't hear the ads at all, and it blocks that whole element. But yet the streamers say, the people running the stream say, if you like what you see and you want to support me, please, disable your ad block so that you can watch my ads and then I get paid more money. But, otherwise, if you don't, that's fine. You can donate below, you can do this, you can do that, but if you want to support the person, you can turn off the ad block. That is the point of it.
Yep. Hey, guess what? I just went over to our free software page. I was going to promote our free software page under the Interact, and guess what's not there?
Why is that not there?
I have no idea. We need to tell Aaron that he for some left the ad block is not there. We always had ad block up there, and now it's not there. So all right, so we'll have to get it back because I was going to say go to our free software page and download it. It ain't there, so we'll get that put back up there.
Something got lost in the move.
Something got lost. Yeah, I didn't realize it. But we'll get it put back. All right, but actually, it's a good time to promote our free software page. I mean, we have it up there when we constantly are trying to keep it up to date. So again, under the Interact pull-down menu, it just says free software, and you can see all the different ones we have. Of course, a little more utilities is there. Avast antivirus, free antivirus, Media Monkey, Mega, LibreOffice, GIMP. We have a whole bunch from there.
It's one of the few parts of or actually one of the many parts of our websites where we actually welcome listener participation. If you have an idea for some awesome free software, send us a link, send us an email. We'll check it out, and if we like it, I mean, if it's completely free to the end user, and it's easy to use, and you think people enjoy it, send us an email. Even if you made it, or if your friend made it, or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Send us a message, and we can put it up there. It's not, it's no problem. We like spreading the word of free.
Yeah. And by the way, Jonathan has a theory. He says AdBlock block the AdBlock link.
Oh, that's counterintuitive.
Yeah, with it. Anyway, it's interesting. Let's see what happens with Google. Yeah, that was an interesting story. Your turn.
I mean, Google could make a lot of money right now. the people who, like they have statistics saying that, each time an ad is viewed, that's equal to like 0.0003 cents. Like the return on investment on pop-up ads, or not pop-up ads, banner ads, are dismal. Like people see them, but people have gotten so used to banner ads and ignoring them that they just kind of like their eyes kind of frost over and they're just like, ugh, like they don't pay attention. So it's this is, I think, Google's way of saying, okay, that model might be a little bit broken, so let's see if we can generate some revenue the other way. And it's a good compromise. I mean, $1 to $3, that admittedly, per site, that's pretty crazy. Like you don't just pay Google, $3, and they stop showing you all ads.
No, it's per site, yeah. I say go to AdBlock Plus and AdBlock, just get it.
Again, it's not.
Yeah.
Ads are not the enemy. It's not just block all ads. It would be easier to block all ads like Craig is suggesting.
Yeah.
It's better to support the sites you want and using AdBlock to navigate around the web without being driven insane.
Yes.
But also supporting the sites that you like by turning off your AdBlock. Turning off your AdBlock is a crucial part of the whole service.
All right.
And yet Craig keeps advertising continuously to not do that. So it's driving me insane. But
hey, here's a story that.
Hey!
What?
2 in a row.
I wanted to get this one in. Okay.
Well, get this one in. We have 34 minutes.
Well, but the bottom of the hour is coming up, and I want.
Forget the bottom of the hour. The bottom of the hour comes twice a day. Actually, technically, 24 times a day. Anyways, so I like this one. It's Friday. We're getting a little more loosey-goosey here, and this is an article about the finer things in life, the things that you can't afford, the things that I can't afford, but the things that I like hearing about. So, sit back and enjoy. 2016 Mercedes Maybach.
Oh my gosh.
600 is an opulent cocoon on 4 wheels.
Yeah.
So, if you've been lamenting that last year's purchase of the Maybach 57 and Maybach 62, the ultimate in luxury cars from Mercedes-Benz, you are certainly not alone. And that's despite these cars carrying prices out of reach for even the most well-heeled of buyers, at $350,000 and way up. Again, $350 is the base.
Yeah.
They were they were rare birds indeed, and now they're gone.
No.
Yeah, they flew south. So in LA, Mercedes-Benz is launching a new Maybach, but rather than a bespoke model, it's a more obvious evolution of an existing one. The already quite luxurious S-Class, the quite luxurious S-Class. It's the Mercedes Maybach S600, and while some may perceive it to be a little bit more than an option package, Mercedes would like for you to think of it as a sub-brand, one offering peerless exclusivity.
Okay.
I bet for the price, they could definitely deliver on that one. Semantics can be debated, but the presence of the thing cannot. It's a substantial 8.1 inches longer than the already imposing S-Class. Wow. I mean, like, you think of cars, and you don't think 8 inches is that much.
Yeah, but it is.
But, I mean, like, in terms of, like, legroom, imagine 4 extra inches of knee space for each person.
The seats look like recliners. I mean, it's amazing.
They are recliners.
Yeah, I know.
They recline back, and they have, like, a little foot pedal that comes out that you can adjust, and you recline in the back seat.
Yeah.
You do not sit in the back seat. Shotgun is no longer the desired position. There are recliners in the back of this Mercedes Maybach. So, much of the length, then, is added to the far more weighty C-pillar, which now sports a triangular window through which Sir can watch the world go by, whilst Jeeves takes care of the driving duties. Indeed, this is the sort of car that you'd expect to come with a driver. Thus, much of the attention has been placed on the back seats, as you can tell from the picture from this article, again, on CNET. And they are incredible, feeling much like that you might find up front of a modern transatlantic airliner, with a leg rest that pivots out, powered shades that cover the windows, and a small desk rises from the center console. That's awesome. Or If work isn't on your mind, you can instead deploy the Maybach-branded champagne glasses, which also tuck in between the seats.
Mhm.
See, I also keep my champagne glasses between the seats.
Yes, I know.
They're plastic, and I use them for, soda. So, and for those really relaxing trips, the front passenger seat folds down, allowing whoever's lucky enough to be in the back right to properly stretch out.
Wow.
That can't be safe.
Yeah. Wow.
But hey, opulence. So the leather is faultless. And by the way, if you're paying over 400 grand for a car, you're getting leather.
Yes.
You're not getting pleather. You're getting leather. So the leather is faultless, frequently quilted, and covers virtually every surface you can touch, even extending up through the door openings. In places you'd expect to find synthetic surfaces, here you instead find more animal hide. The premium look and feel is comprehensive. Also premium, the twin-turbo 6.0-liter V12.
Wow.
Under the hood, and its 523 horsepower and 612 pound-feet of torque. That's a machine.
Yeah.
So helping keep that power in check is a raft of safety systems, including lane keeping assistance and raft of automatic braking assist. And if you've ever seen Mercedes, had a friend that owned Mercedes, or if you've ever owned Mercedes, especially the S-Class, it's their safety features are always top-notch. Like, they're usually some of the best you can get, outside of experimental Google cars. Like, they're really good. So lane keeping assistance and all that kind of thing. Maybach's S600 comes out around 200 grand or 232 Australian dollars. That's crazy.
Well, you're listening to the Computer America Show. I got a News Test Bulletin review coming up, last of the week, and we'll be right back. Stay with us. Looking for a best friend? Brother Wolf Animal Rescue has your best friend waiting just for you. The mission is to protect and enhance the lives of companion animals and the people who love them. Their no-kill rescue shelter is open year-round, making it easy for people to adopt their best new friend. This year, Brother Wolf will find homes for over 2,400 orphan dogs, puppies, cats, and kittens. All have ended up as an orphan through no fault of their own. Brother Wolf has created a safe, nurturing environment where these special animals can heal emotionally and physically until they find a lifelong home. Their life-saving transport program brings dogs and puppies from overcrowded shelters in the south to rescues in the north where homes are easier to find. Brother Wolf Animal Rescue is a 501c3 organization. To learn more about their life-saving work and to make a donation, visit their website www.bwar.org. That's www.bwar.org. Help to realize Brother Wolf's vision when no animal is euthanized for lack of a home.
Who's a good boy?
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-866-663-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. So, disable the cable and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV right now to sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and up to 4 rooms. And there's no equipment to buy. That includes your free HD TV upgrade, your free DVR upgrade, and your free professional installation. And the best part, the pristine digital picture and sound. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. So, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV. Disable the cable, cut costs, and get more. Call 1-866-663-MY-TV. 1-866-663-MY-TV.
Hello, North America, and to those of you from North Carolina, nanu nanu. This is Marty Winston with a News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America. This time, the Tungsten Customs Analog LED Clock. Now, this starts as a block of wood, roughly 3.5 inches, 4.5 inches by an inch. On the face of it, 2 concentric rings of 12 white LEDs. That's its face. When you plug in its wall wart, there's a single brightest inner ring LED to indicate the hour, and a pair, meaning both rings are on, as the minute hand. Now that's in 5-minute steps because, do the math, there are 12 of them. Its four modes govern a secondary use for that outer ring. It's either all on, or all off, or a swinging animated pendulum effect, or a sweep second hand. Its display is readable from a good distance, even in bright lighting. And it may mystify those among us who don't know how to read an analog time display, especially one without numbers. Bottom line, a Tungsten Systems analog LED clock is a charming blend of touch and tech that can make for a timely gift, especially at this time of year. This is Marty Winston with the News Tips Bulletin Review for Computer America.
Welcome back to the Computer America Show. Thank you, Marty Winston, for that. The last time we will hear that particular News Tip Bulletin Review. We have more lined up down the pike, as Craig has been saying lately. I thought it was pipe, but apparently it's pike.
That's a road.
What you don't know is you can find many things down the gullet of a fish. So down the pike is very appropriate. But, you know, it being Friday, last half hour,
you remember,
and we forget all the time. I say we get this out of the way, Craig, and hurry up and announce our show reminder winner of the week.
All right, let's do it. This week's show reminder winner is...
Suspense.
I know, it's killing me. Debbie Brookins. Debbie Brookins, D-V-E-I. Debbie, not Debbie, Debbie. Debbie wins the Logitech Wireless Rechargeable Touchpad T650. It's valued at $80. Congratulations to you. It's a glass touchpad. It gives you incredible precision, sensors, resistance to fingerprints and scratches. It's just really, really nice. It's a gorgeous touchpad. Debbie, congratulations. You win it this week. And again, to all of our listeners, head over to computeramerica.com and enter in all of our contests so you can be just like Debbie and win something really, really nice. Just go to our contest page at computeramerica.com. Right there. It's under the Interact menu. You'll see all the contests. You'll see the show reminder winner that Debbie just won for this week. Our Logitech contest. I got about 2 more weeks before that closes. That finishes on December the 5th. And again, we now have it so you don't have to send us any more emails. The registration code is right on the Logitech page, so you can register right there. And we've got the grand prize. The new grand prize is the Logitech X300 mobile wireless stereo speaker. Comes in 4 different colors, about at $70. And you get to pick the color if you're the winner. So just head over to our computeramerica.com. Head over to our contest page. Enter in all of our contests. They're a lot of fun. You'll have a good time doing it, and you know, you may win something really, really nice, just like Debbie did. Okay. Okay, Ben and I are doing computer and technology news, brought to you by Slimware Utilities, the official optimization software of Computer America. And this next story is from our buddy Paul Lilly at Maximum PC. And this makes me sad.
What? What makes you sad?
All those great lasers, that wicked lasers, selling.
You mean death lasers? Yes, I've heard of them.
Yes. They're going to stop shipping those lasers above 5 milliwatts in January. That's right. You will not be able to buy those incredible lasers that can pop balloons, light cigarettes, do all kinds of the high-power energy lasers. You will not be able to buy them anymore after January. So, plus, the only good news is that you can save 40% on handheld lasers that will soon be unavailable to purchase. So, according to the story, Wicked Lasers build some of the most awesome and dangerous handheld lasers around, like the Krypton that earned a rare 10 verdict and coveted Maximum PC Kick-Ass Award that they reviewed back in 2011. The company has been the topic of many articles on the Maximum PC website throughout the years, though sadly, the good times are coming to an end. You see? He feels the same way. Wicked Lasers is under new ownership and will no longer ship handheld lasers greater than 5 milliwatts to U.S. customers effective January 1st, 2015.
This is why we can't have nice things.
Why?
I don't know.
The same shipping restrictions will extend to other countries shortly after. The new owners say that's it, but they won't do that. Other than that little bit of information, there's not much to go on. It's not clear who the new owners are or what their future plans are for Wicked Lasers. It's also not clear why they're discontinuing shipment of high-power lasers, though it could boil down to liability issues. I'm sorry, if you buy a gun from a company and you kill somebody with that gun, you can't sue the gun company. There's no liability. I'm not a lawyer, so I could be wrong, but I would think that you can only sue the person who owns the gun. You can't sue the gun manufacturer. And why would that be any different than with lasers? If you
I would only assume because guns have a pretty good lobbying arm, whereas lasers are still considered toys. Yes, even though when they're so powerful, yes, even though when they're so awesome, they're still considered toys. So guns have special set of rules and protections, whereas toys that can get you arrested. I can totally see how that could get back to it. Because like it happens all the time with Hasbro and other toy manufacturers where toys are defective or used wrongly. It does come back to them.
Well, that's the bad news, according to this article. And the good news is Wicked Lasers is offering 40% off all of its lasers products, save for the flash torch and the core. Really? Okay. You can just use a coupon code FINAL40 for the savings. It says if you're new to Wicked Lasers, bear in mind that these are not toys. Depending on the laser, it takes but a split second for serious injury such as blindness. You have to be careful. So if shopping,
you can fry your retina.
Yeah. Do yourself and others a solid and pick up some safety goggles if you're going to use these things, and don't point them in airplanes because you're going to get arrested. Jeez, I can't believe somebody did that.
Hey, people, personally, I've done it. You were there, Craig. You were my co-conspirator in this. If you have a laser and, laser point accuracy, laser precision accuracy, and you think, okay, I'm just human, but I want to try that. So when you try to hit things with it, plane is just an obvious choice. It's up high. It's kind of small. It's hard. It's moving fast. You obviously want to hit it. Admittedly, it'll get you arrested. It'll get you a ticket. It will get you fined. But I can see why people do it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, sticking your head in the sand isn't gonna solve anything. So, Craig, do you see why people shoot lasers at planes?
Yeah, I guess because they're there, but that doesn't. No,
it's totally wrong. It's just you have to say to yourself, why do they do it? And it's pretty easy to see why.
Well, hopefully word has gotten around that if you do it, you're going to go to jail.
Yep.
When they first came out, and I think you're talking about the time when the time that you're talking about, it wasn't illegal at that time. There were no laws in place at the time. It was so new. But as the years passed on down, obviously these laws have come into fruition, and they got
No, Craig, we're criminals. We are bad people. Just accept it. Take this onto yourself. Okay. So computer technology news brought to you by Somewhere Utilities. We are doing. How about? No, we're not gonna we have a story here from Wired if you're interested, and it kind of explores how people will be living in the future. Although I take it with an extreme grain of salt because in 2030, you kind of fall into that mentality. It's like in the 1960s, here's how, or the 1950s, here's how man of tomorrow is going to be living. And then they have the Jetsons, and it's like in the year 2000, people are going to be living way up in the sky because the Earth is going to be flooded. Due to the polar ice, whatever. So I want to kind of avoid that one, even though I picked it out, because honestly, in 2030, probably not much is going to change in your city.
Okay.
Like maybe a couple more buildings, but honestly, I don't self-driving cars, but there's not going to be mega cities, pretty much. So, This one though is big news, and this one involves Google yet again, and not how they're making money, but how they could be losing tons of it. So, EU wants to separate search from the rest of Google.
Really?
It's weird though, isn't it? Like when you think Google, you think search. Like that is Google.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this one from Gadget, Mr. Chris is writing this. So Google's been caught up in an antitrust tango with the European Union for years, since the EU hasn't been thrilled with the search giant's attempted concessions. There might be an extreme new option on the table. According to a report from the Financial Times, the European Parliament is expected to ask Google to split itself in twain, leaving its search business separate from the rest of its commercial operations. We've reached out to Google and the European Commission for comments, and we'll update this story if and when they get back to us. Again, this one from Gadget. So if all goes well, or poorly if you're a Googler, the matter, which has the combined support of the European People's Party and the European Socialists and Democrats, is expected to be put to a vote as soon as next Thursday. So, 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been taking tabs on Google protracted war on Europe? It all started back in 2010 when the EU launched a preliminary antitrust investigation because of allegations that the folks in Mountain View were discreetly burying its small search competitors in its search results. What makes those accusations more chilling is how much more prevalent Google's search site is in Europe. It reportedly accounts for a full 90% of the search market there, compared to roughly 70% in the United States. And so began a 4-year cycle of Google capitulation, near settlement, and renewed pushback that still hasn't left either side satisfied. Yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I thought you wanted to say something. Here's the thing to remember. The Parliament limited authority here means it can't actually force Google to do anything. If the motion gets enough support, though, it might be enough to get the European Commission pushing for a breakup via legislation. This would be the first time a US-based tech giant has crossed swords this way with top European officials. Way back in 2009, Microsoft agreed to ship a version of Windows 7 in Europe without Internet Explorer pre-installed to quash growing concerns of a web browser monopoly. I remember that.
Yep.
That was
Yep.
That was the thing. So, though it ultimately wound up just offering users a choice of browsers upon installation, Redmond did well for itself then, and you can expect Google to push right back if the EU really starts getting antsy for a split. But we'll just have to see what happens in the next week. Yeah, no, it's again, Parliament has no power here. They can just kind of highly recommend that Google does this before they start bringing up lawsuits and whatnot. Although it sounds like they've already have antitrust cases against Google. And like the story surprised me though. It's like if you are the heavyweight champion of the world, why do you have to start downplaying your opponents? When you are undisputed, huge, big time, and yet this guy is coming up and he has 0.01% of the search market. Why do you want to bury him in your search results? Like why? Like how does it really matter? It just gets you in trouble.
Yeah,
it's surprising to see Google kind of take that approach.
Yeah.
But apparently they did. So Google may, at least in Europe, may soon be 2 companies.
Yeah. Well, there you go. There you go. As he said, we'll have to wait and see.
Yep.
We'll cover that here on Computer America.
Craig, it sounds like you really want to get to a story.
I do.
I hear it in your voice. You're like, oh, Ben, hurry up, finish. We don't care. Hurry up, hurry up.
I want to. According to Maxim PC, again, Paul Lilly, Dell starts shipping Alienware Alpha PC game console. The Steam Machine turned Alpha console starts at $549. Dell originally intended for its Alienware Alpha console to be an official Steam machine, though Valve threw a wrench in the plans when it delayed the platform in order to tweak Steam controller to satisfaction. But instead of tossing aside all that research and development into building a console-sized game box for the PC, Dell remarketed the device as the Alienware Alpha, and it's now begun shipping out to customers. Have you seen this thing?
Yeah. Well, I saw pictures in the article.
Yeah. There's a quote here. It says, "We've been working hard this past year to break the mold and develop a system that finally brings hundreds of Steam games, including some really fun indie titles, to TVs," said the general manager of Alienware. "The team and I are excited to finally deliver our vision for big screen gaming and give our fans a console that delivers true next-gen performance with the flexibility to choose how, what, and where they want to play." Now, do you think $549 is the starting price? Includes an Intel Core i3 4130T dual-core processor, 4 gigs of RAM, DDR3 RAM, NVIDIA GeForce GTX 860M GPU, customized to run at speeds found in no other device, and 500 gigabyte hard drive. $549? What do you think, Ben? You're the gamer here.
I mean, it's a console. It's not a PC. It's not a personal computer. It's a console.
Well, it's going to compete with Xbox and PlayStation 4, right?
Judging from the specs, it's going to be more capable than the PlayStation or the Xbox.
Yeah, but it won't have. Yeah.
It's going to be $900.
Well, if you want the more power, yeah.
Which, I mean, if you're already spending $550, you might as well spring from the 900 and just have an awesome rig set up.
But it won't play all the games that like Halo and all that stuff. Those are proprietary games, right?
Well, yeah, no, it won't be able to play console dependent. So this is pretty much a take on the Steam box. So again, Steam machine. You're going to be running the Steam platform, which many people use. Is currently the widest distributor of video games out there. Like, if you buy this, you're not going to be looking for games. This thing is going to be so loaded full of games, you're not going to be able to play them all. And they're going to have top-rated games because Steam has made a lot of deals, and Steam has a lot of content. So it's, in terms of games, attaching itself to Steam is a great move, especially since they have the whole big picture. And especially if you're a PC gamer, everything is going to transfer over to this. Everything is going to transfer over to this console. So it has potential.
Every game you're playing on your PC now will be compatible with this system?
If you are playing Steam on your computer and you go over to this console, turn it on, and you turn on Steam Big Picture, it will not only sync up with your computer and your Steam in your Steam account, it will transfer all of your content, all of your saves, everything that you've ever done with that game, and it will put it right on this console. It's going to be just a clean, flawless transfer.
So let me ask you this: if you had a choice on an Xbox One, PlayStation 4, or this machine, which would you choose?
Xbox.
Because you're heavily.
Well, maybe a PlayStation. I don't know.
You're heavily vested in the Halo franchise.
No, it's just that this is going to take the place of a computer.
Uh-huh.
And if you already have a decent computer that can run all the games you want, there's really no reason to go buy it. Like, the $900 price tag really speaks to a gaming computer. So if you are looking for a gaming computer and you want to find one, this is it. Like, this would take the place of it. It's in the form of a console. You put it out in the living room, and it can do everything a computer can. It's just you're going to be using it.
Can you play World of Warcraft on this? All the Blizzard games? You can.
No.
You can't.
No. Blizzard is not on Steam. Blizzard has their own distribution software.
Ah. Okay.
So it's if you already have a gaming computer, this thing is going to be redundant, if anything. But if you had, like, say, an Xbox, an Xbox One already, then this would look appealing because you need a computer, and this would certainly function as a really great computer.
That says all models come with an Xbox 360 wireless controller with USB adapter and several preloaded games like Anomaly, Warzone Earth, Awesome Knots, Magica, Metro Last Light, Payday 2, and Strike Suit Zero. The obvious buzz here is to kill the custom GTX 860M GPU. That's the obvious buzzkill. It's based on NVIDIA's newer Maxwell architecture, but isn't upgradable and somewhat out of date with NVIDIA having released its 970M and 980M mobile GPUs last month. So it's only rocking 2 gigs of GDDR5 memory instead of 4 gigabytes as found on some other systems. As configured, the Alien where Alpha boots into Dell's Alpha user interface, a console-based menu that's friendly for controllers. After the first boot, gamers can opt to have the system boot directly into Steam, Big Picture, or the regular Windows 8.1 desktop if they prefer. So then you can just do normal things like word processing and stuff on it.
Again, it's going to be a computer, but it's mainly going to have the Steam operating system on it.
Got it. Okay. So
not so much a gaming console, just a computer built like a gaming console.
Right. Exactly. And this appeals primarily to people who already have a console but are looking to get another computer?
People who like the Steam platform but want it in the form of a console. I mean, if you are looking for a new computer and you don't, for $900, it may sound like a lot, but for a gaming computer, that's pretty middle of the road.
Got it.
So
okay.
$900 isn't, it probably isn't asking too much.
No. Okay. I was curious what your reaction would be with that. I think you have time to do one more story.
I do. So I'm going to. Hong Kong protest sites slammed by largest cyber attack ever. And whenever you hear the word ever, you think hyperbole and you think, yeah, I got to read that. So the company that protects the independent media outlets said that the attacks are unprecedented in scale. Media websites connected to the Hong Kong pro-democracy movement have been slammed in recent months with what has been described as one of the largest cyber attacks the internet has ever seen.
Wow.
The attacks have been leveled against websites for Apple Daily and PopVote, which held a mock vote for Hong Kong chief executive. One of the protesters' key demands is a free and open election for chief executive of the one-time British enclave. The content delivery network Cloudflare, which services the sites, says the denial of service attack, or DDoS, distributed denial of service attack, are the largest in history of the internet by far. Ooh.
Wow.
So an attack in Europe brought 400 gigabits per second in attack traffic against an unidentified victim. The Hong Kong attacks are 500 gigabits in scale, Forbes reports. It's larger than any attack we've seen, and we've seen some of the biggest attacks the internet has seen. It's safe to say that the attackers are not sympathetic with the Hong Kong democracy movement, but I don't think we can necessarily say it's the Chinese government. It could very well be an individual or someone trying to make the Chinese government look bad.
One person? No way. Really?
Well, I mean, one person, all they need to do is control a big enough botnet, and bam, one person could totally do this.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
Again, it's not one computer that's driving 500 gigabits per second scale. It's one entity sending that much traffic. And again, 500 gigabits per second. People flip out when you say that you have 10 gigabits per second internet speed.
Yeah.
This is 50 times greater than that. And that's all to one site for months. Not days, not weeks, not hours, months of continuous attacks.
Mm.
It's pretty crazy.
It is pretty crazy. Wow. Well, I guess I could sneak this last one in. It's just really a statistic. Half the world will be using the internet by 2018.
You barely slipped under. Good.
Half the world will be using the internet by 2018. This is an increase of about 6.2%, bringing us up to a respectable 42.4% of the total global population. The article goes on, but I think basically they're saying that eventually we're all going to be connected via the internet. Half the world.
That's good, though.
That is good. I mean, that's amazing. Again, according to 2018, so we got about 4 more years. 3.5.
Yeah, about 3.5.
Because the entire Earth population was just over 7.1 billion in 2013. So a healthy chunk of our planet will have access to all the latest cat memes. Okay.
But that's a great thing, though, is, the more people you get on the internet, the more you get of sharing of ideas, which the internet is all about. So it's kind of why you want to, it's kind of why you want the internet to be open and free, net neutrality and all that kind of thing, is because as soon as you let corporations into it, you're not just keeping down what you have come to know, you're keeping down everyone who's coming onto the internet. They're coming onto a completely different, already pre-owned internet. And we don't like that. We need open and free to share ideas. Ah. So sorry for anyone who is listening on the Google Hangouts. Looks like Craig dropped for some reason. So I'm going to try to get Craig back here. All right, now the mission to find Craig is on. Dun, 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 dun. All right, good night, everybody.